What's up, you degens? What's going on, guys? My degenerate family. All right, let's have a look at the charts. How's everybody doing today? How is everybody doing? Let's get this day started, shall we? Guys, nice pump overnight on the whole market, really. JASMY's recovered all the way back up to 2 cents 558. Very nice. And like I said, I'd like to get above this resistance level and a nice thick body candle close above there. But if it takes another day, if we can close this daily candle we're on now in about, 4.5 hours, up where it is now, then we could see the next daily candle tomorrow, maybe continuation to the upside, retest, and then go up to the 3 cent level up here would be the next level of resistance. Golden Cross playing out just as planned, like I said, guys. So, yeah, everything looks good. Everything looks healthy on JASMY. Nothing to write home about there. Going over to the Bitcoin chart, very juicy Bitcoin chart. The crypto future live stream effect kicking in, guys. We broke back above the resistance level here inside this box. If we can close back up over $96,000, that would be super fantastic. Do it now. Let's get a close above there. Setting in that higher low just as planned. See, guys? Higher low, higher low. Now further continuation to the upside. How many days or weeks is it going to take us, though, to break through this resistance level, this massive sell wall? Now, guys, there's something else I want you to consider going into the weekend, okay? I think that we're probably going to see a red weekend because there's not going to be much activity. There's not going to be much buying in the market on Thanksgiving weekend, I don't think. It's very possible we could see a red weekend or just a boring sideways weekend. Something for you to consider going into the weekend, right? It might be a DCA opportunity, right? Nothing's guaranteed in crypto, but it might be a good opportunity. Most people are going to be stepping away from their portfolios and spending time with their families this weekend. So something to keep note of. As I always say, guys, I'm not ignoring you in the chat. I will get to your comments in the chat and your questions the second half of the stream. We get through the news first, and then we get into the chat. So leave your questions, comments, concerns in the chat, and I will get to them post haste. If you have an altcoin request, there's a little tab at the top of the chat called goals. If you participate in that, I will do some TA on your favorite altcoin. All right, let's go have a look at the crypto bubbles. Very nice, guys. Very nice recovery across the board. JASMY up 12.5% on the day so far, and we're just getting started, baby. A lot of people worried that this is a dead cat bounce, though, because of the long weekend and stuff. So we'll have to, again, see what happens with that. You know what? I didn't put the goal up. Sorry, guys. I said it was there, and it's not there. So here, give me a second, and I'll put the goal up for you guys. There. All right. So the goal is there for your altcoin requests. All right, so yeah, a lot of people are worried that this is more of a dead cat bounce and that we're going to see a red weekend. And that's entirely possible, guys. But for now, let's just enjoy the green. Let's enjoy the pump action. Look across the market, guys. Absolutely amazing. LCX up 58%. We're having some good recoveries. I mean, I hope we're continuing the melt up here, guys. That's what I hope is happening. I hope a lot of these altcoins are going to start continuing to put in their higher lows and stuff. Uniswap, Taraxa, Trios, all looking good. Pancake Swap, everything looks good. Everything looks good. What's XRP back up to $1.48? Very nice. Very nice. So, yes, guys, I see some people mentioning in the chat, so I'll bring it up now. Guys, yes, Hara did a 3-video thing where he's addressing all of the community's questions, kind of like an AMA. And I did 2 videos today. The first video he did, I split it into 2 because it's long. So I did the first video. It released this morning. The second part of that video is coming out this afternoon around 6 p.m. Central. So Hara did do an AMA. Some of the key highlights that I took away from it, I encourage you to go watch it. But some of the key highlights I took away, guys, was one, the fact that the partnership between Panasonic was actually the person who approached JASMY for this partnership. It was not the other way around. So Panasonic sought out the JASMY team to help them connect their IoT devices, which is absolutely bullish and fantastic, right? We know that the Super Wallet is ready, but it cannot be launched before the layer 2 Junction is released, because what would be the point in having a Super Wallet for an ecosystem that doesn't exist yet, right? So, but he did say that he expects that before the end of December, that Junction's ecosystem, Junction's layer 2 Junction will be launched, and they're expecting the I think they said the Super Wallet to be launched about 2 to 3 months after that. So maybe a January date for the PDL, or for Junction, sorry, and then maybe a March date for the Super Wallet. So we have answers, guys. Okay, so he's also talking about how he's working with a lot of venture capitalists and institutional investors about backing JASMY as a company. He talked about how he is in talks with Binance and their plan to continue to work to get out of the monitoring zone. All that information and more, guys, is in the videos. I break it all down in Hara's words himself, so make sure you watch those videos. Very, very constructive, very bullish indeed. So I'll just kind of show you here what I'm talking about. See? JASMY CFO Junction CEO Hara Q&A to answer with a video. The first installment was JASMY's progress. So it's a 3-part thing. There's 2 more videos coming out from him, and I will continue to break them down for you guys. But he says we picked up and answered some of the most commonly asked questions. So once again, the PDL question is answered. The layer 2 Junction is answered. The JASMY Super Wallet question is answered. The Binance questions are answered. So make sure you watch my breakdown videos on those. Like I said, first one came out this morning. Second one comes out at 6 p.m. today. Make sure you guys check that out. Very bullish, guys. Very, very bullish. All right. Breaking news. Deutsche Bank predicts the S&P 500 can hit 7,000 by the end of, or by 2025. Driven by rising risk appetite. I agree. Very, very bullish. Check this out, guys. Check this out. President-elect Pump's team interviews pro-crypto Paul Atkins to replace Gary Gensler at the SEC. Now, what is his story? Let's get into it. So Pump is considering Paul Atkins to run the SEC. Long-term financial regulator Paul Atkins has been interviewed by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission chair by the president-elect Donald Pump's transition team. According to Bloomberg reports, those acquainted with the process said Atkins is a strong candidate to succeed Gary Gensler, SEC chair. No final decision has been made yet. These sources, who cannot speak publicly, said that Pump is expecting to announce his choice shortly. People under consideration for the role, including former Commodities Futures Trading Commission Chairman Heath Tarbert, SEC Commissioner Mark Ueda, and Robert Stebbins, a partner at the law firm Wilkie Furr and Gallagher. President-elect Pump has been making quick decisions on his second-term appointments and will announce the remaining when finalized. Pump's spokesperson, Caroline Levitt, mentioned in a statement, however, Atkins and his team did not respond to Bloomberg's request for comments as of yet. So, big news. He's pro-crypto, guys. He may not be a 10 when it comes to a scale of 1 to 10. He's not a looker. He may not be Brad Pitt, but he may get the job done. Part of Donald Pump's team. All right. Kathy Wood says Bitcoin's going to $1.5 million.
We have a 2030 target. In our base case, it's around $650,000. In our bull case, it's between $1 and $1.5 million. Now, remember, we were the first public asset manager to gain exposure to Bitcoin in 2015 at $250. And we still, at 90,000, I think we have a long way to go. Why? Well, first of all, we're getting regulatory relief here. And I think that's one of the most important things coming out of this administration. We will get regulatory relief on all kinds of innovation, including healthcare. So the other thing is we're looking at Bitcoin now being viewed as a new asset class. It's not just a global monetary system. It's a new asset class. And what that means is institutions and asset allocators generally are saying, wait a minute, this asset is behaving differently from all of our other assets. We need to include. So I think that's the next big move. And and if you look at years where the Bitcoin has halved and the inflation rate has gone down to 0.9, it's usually had a nice big move.
Kathy Wood looking for some relief. Yes, we all need a little relief in our lives. They were the first ones to support Bitcoin. Elon Musk says that the IRS will be audited by the Department of Government Efficiency. So the IRS, who's used to being the bully and auditing everyone, is going to get a taste of their own medicine, right? The messers have become the messies. You love to see that, guys. Make them sweat. Make them sweat. All right. Crypto Zillion says JASMY has a circulating supply of 49 billion tokens and a max token supply of 50 billion. Accordingly, at a price of $1, JASMY's market cap would be 50 billion. To put that into relation, here are a few market cap numbers from the last bull run. Cardano hit a $100 billion market cap. Doge hit a $98 billion market cap, and DOT hit a $50 billion market cap. Therefore, it is definitely possible, based on the numbers, that JASMY reaches a $50 billion market cap. The crypto market is full of surprises. However, based on the data numbers, it is definitely possible JASMY can hit $1. Now, I would like to reiterate to you guys that that is not including that. Well, sorry, that is including a 0% TVL. Now, with the Junction ecosystem launching by the end of December, I would venture to guess that the TVL inside the ecosystem is going to be far greater than 0% at that time. So I do not think that there's going to be 50 billion tokens in circulation, because a lot of those will be locked up. Even if they only get somewhere around a 20% TVL to start, that's going to bring the necessary market cap from 50 billion down significantly by 20%, right? So very, very good. Very, very good. So yeah, just so you know, we got big news out of Bitwise for the XRP army. For our European investors today, we're excited to introduce the Bitwise Physical XRP ETF with over 80 million in assets under management. GXRP is trading on Germany's Deutsche Börse Extra and provides institutional grade access to XRP. We're also proud to share that Ripple is an investor in the newly rebranded fund. Very, very bullish for the XRP community. What else do we got, guys? Vivek, Galaxy Digital CEO, says Bitcoin is going to $500,000.
I want to get back to crypto here, and I want to talk about the possibility of a Bitcoin strategic reserve. You think about this rally that we're seeing in Bitcoin, which is one of the purest supply and demand markets. And one of the reasons I keep hearing is that there's a lot of optimism that we could see the United States government buy up to $1 million worth of Bitcoin. Now that you do have all these crypto advocates in Congress, are you confident that we could see something like that?
I still think it's a low probability, right? You know how Congress works. The House gets excited, or the executive gets excited, and the Senate says, calm down, right? That's the role of the Senate. And while the Republicans control the Senate, they don't have 60 seats. They don't have close to 60. And so Listen, I think it would be very smart for the United States to take the Bitcoin they have and maybe add some to it and say, we want to show the world that we're going to be a technology first country, a crypto digital asset first country. I don't necessarily think the dollar needs anything to back it up. We have the strongest military in the world. We have the dominant economy in the world, and the reserve currency we've earned. And to need to back up the reserve currency is counterintuitive. And so, again, listen, if we get the Bitcoin reserve, and as a guy that owns a lot of Bitcoin, I will not cry. And if you see me crying, there'll be crocodile tears. I think Bitcoin heads to 500,000. Again, it's a whole different paradigm because it forces every other country in. Countries are already buying it. I've got a dear friend, the guy that actually turned me on to Bitcoin in 2013, who's in the Mideast right now. And he said he's never seen anything like it. He's convincing more people to buy Bitcoin in the 3 days he's been there than any time in his whole career. And they're huge pools of capital. And so we're seeing something globally. When Trump advocated in Nashville that he was going to be a crypto president, a Bitcoin president, and now he's the president, let me tell you, other leaders heard that. And so I think we're strapping in for what could be an amazing rally.
I want to get back to your point on, hyperinflation, Mike, or at least more than 4%. I look at a longer term chart of Bitcoin, say 5 years. And in that run up, post or during COVID, I always see an inflation indicator here. I know that there was a lot of helicopter money that helped out as well as people being home with nothing to do. But to me, it was an indication that at least this community saw massive inflation coming, and that was borne out. Do you not see the most recent run up as the same sort of signal?
Yeah, listen, so when the government's printing as much money as the Bitcoin narrative, the only narrative really for Bitcoin is it's a hard asset in a world where you're going to debase fiat currencies. Like, that's the story. Forget any other story. Like, when Bitcoin, they say, oh, we're going to be level 2s and we're going to do NFTs on it. I always think that just confuses the story.
My eyes glaze over. Yeah.
The story is digital gold. It is a hard asset that's believed to be a hard asset by the people that participate in its community. And it's really hard in a world of populism, not just in the United States, all over the world, for governments to not want to spend more. And every single government is spending more than they take in.
But Mike, isn't that run up to 500,000? I mean, if it happens in the short term, without a strategic Bitcoin reserve, it's going to mean 6, 7, 8, 9% inflation.
Let me be really clear. I don't want it to happen in the short term unless there's a Bitcoin strategic reserve, because that's a different story. Then it's just a scramble. It's a crazy scramble to get the hot commodity. If it would happen naturally, it means we're starting to have hyperinflation, and then we start to lose civil society. Like, in every country that you look at that experiences hyperinflation, the results are really crappy.
Mike, how soon do you get to 500,000? That's kind of a stunning level to think about, but we're probably going to hit $100,000 this year if we keep on going at this rate.
Yeah. So listen, the total market cap of gold, I think, is like 16 trillion, right? And so that's 800,000 Bitcoin. So when does Bitcoin become gold? Like, there's a new generation that cares more about Bitcoin than they care about gold. I'm turning 60 next week, and so I still own a bunch of gold. I'm an old guy, but let me tell you, no 40-year-olds on gold, no 30-year-olds on gold. And so as we see this generational shift, like, Bitcoin should match gold within 5 or 10 years. Wow. And that gets you to 800,000. That's with current gold prices. I think gold's going higher.
Wow. Crazy, guys. What else do we got going on out there? Wrecked Capital, BTC dominance. 5 years ago, it took Bitcoin dominance 304 days to reaccumulate inside the orange box over here. To break out beyond the 57.68 resistance, which is the green line here that you see, and confirm it into a new support before rallying higher. In a few days' time, Bitcoin dominance will likely confirm the 57.68% green range into support once again, which is right here. As you can see, it's coming back down to retest that level as a support level. And once again, this will enter reaccumulation process in the orange box. So he's saying basically we're about to see Bitcoin dominance make another run to the upside, which is what I've been saying, guys. Over on the Bitcoin dominance, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So the Dixie, by the way, the Dixie's dropping. So that's good. That's good for crypto, right? Good to see the dollar dropping. And here we go. See, Bitcoin dominance down more. It's got that 58.57% level, guys. That's exactly the level he was talking about to retest as support before it then continues back to the upside. Probably, we're just testing this level here as a support level. See, we had resistance here, then we had a little bit of support here. It came down and touched it right here as support, wick down, and then back up again. We're sitting on it again right now. Likely going to act, likely going to act as that level of support before continuing on to the upside, which means altcoins, which means Bitcoin's not done running to the upside, first of all. So yeah, we're going to see that. We may see altcoins continue their melt up phase as Bitcoin continues to pull them up, which is very, very bullish as well. So yeah, that is from Rect Capital. Guys, we have another major company. SOS stock rises 100% after announcing plans to purchase $50 million worth of Bitcoin to put on their balance sheets. They haven't even purchased it yet. They just announced that they're going to. The MicroStrategy strategy is in full effect, you guys. Full effect. With several trillion expected to flow into crypto this cycle, $50 billion market cap would make it easy, would be easy for JASMY. The 750% pump this year shows the interest and the potential is there. You'd have a much better chance of transitioning before JASMY hits $1. Yeah, a lot of FOMO is going to start kicking in at higher prices, guys, for sure. For sure. On top of that, guys, with these companies adopting the MicroStrategy strategy of putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, state FOMO has begun as well. The ambition stated by Republican senators to buy 1 million Bitcoin is already having an impact around the world. Morocco, one of the few countries that banned Bitcoin in 2017, has just lifted the ban. Across the Atlantic, Brazilian lawmakers have just introduced a bill, which we will get into, guys. I have another story about that. They've introduced a bill similar to that of the American Senator Cynthia Lummis, aimed at creating a strategic reserve for Bitcoin. Deputy Eros Bondi suggests allocating up to 5% of Brazil's foreign exchange reserves. This amounts to around $16 billion, 171,000 Bitcoin. Brazil's total foreign exchange reserves indeed stands at $330 billion. This unexpected pleasant surprise can be paralleled with the statement of the Brazilian president, Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva. That's a long name. It's like four names. Wow, I wish I had 4 names. Indeed called for the emergence of an alternative international currency to the dollar during his first visit with China. Quote, I wonder every evening why all these trade exchanges must be why all these trade exchanges must be in dollars. Oh. He remarked from the headquarters of the Development Bank in Shanghai, also known as the BRICS Bank, who decided that the dollar would be an international currency after the gold standard disappeared. Why can't we trade based on our own currencies? Because your currency isn't worth anything. The bill presents Bitcoin as a hedge against geopolitical risks. This is barely a veiled reference to the freezing of Russian foreign reserves. If the West did not hesitate to confiscate 300 billion euros from the world's leading nuclear power, no country is safe. Stateless, non-confiscatable, and existing in absolute finite quantity, Bitcoin has all the qualities to become the new international reserve currency the BRICS dreams of. When will China change its stance? Okay, so we're not reading about that. So Brazil could soon join the exclusive club alongside El Salvador and Bhutan. El Salvador was the first to implement a Bitcoin strategy. Its strategic reserve contains almost 6,000 Bitcoin, representing nearly $540 million. The Kingdom of Bhutan is also accumulating Bitcoin due to its surplus hydropower. Other governments hold much larger reserves thanks to judicial seizures. The United States holds 208,109 Bitcoin. China holds 190,000. United Kingdom owns 61,245. Ukraine holds 46,351. Bhutan holds 12,218, and Venezuela holds 240. Germany used to hold 50,000, but they were stupid and they sold it. For more perspective, let's remember that the foreign exchange reserves held by all central banks amount to $12,347 billion, more than 6,600 billion, but also 2,265 billion euro. The rest is held in yen, pounds, Swiss francs, Canadian dollars, yen, etc. The share of the dollar stands at 55% of the total official foreign exchange reserves. This is much lower than the 2001 when it reached 71%. The shares of the dollar would be even lower if gold reserves were included in the calculations. They represent over 20% of the grand total, approximately 37,000 tons of gold worth $2,800 billion. That's a lot of money that should sooner or later end up in the Bitcoin basket. In this scenario, the market capitalization of Bitcoin would reach 17,000 billion. Is that a number? A single Bitcoin would then be worth $800,000. Not to mention the reserves held by individuals and companies. The latter already holds nearly 800,000 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy holds the lion's share at 386,000 Bitcoin in reserves. The whole world will follow if the U.S. Congress votes in favor of a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. Senator Cynthia Lummis' bill plans to divest gold reserves to hoard at least 1 million Bitcoin, $95 billion worth. President Trump is rallying an army to fight for Bitcoin, said the senator this Wednesday. Donald Trump promised at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville to keep 100% of the Bitcoins that the U.S. government already holds or will ever acquire. From hostile, the U.S. government will become benevolent. The proof is that dozens of secretaries personally own Bitcoin. And by the way, so does Donald Trump. Such is the case with Vice President Vance and also the next Secretary of Commerce, knowing that Howard Lutnick is currently CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, which is closely collaborating with Tether stablecoin. It should also be mentioned that Robert Kennedy is in the mix. The one who will oversee health does not hide that he has placed most of his fortune into Bitcoin as well. So pretty much everyone on Trump's team is pro Bitcoin and pro crypto. You love to see that, guys. You love to see it. All right, what else do we got out there? Speaking of MicroStrategy, MicroStrategy has already done $8 billion in trading volume just today alone, guys. That's the stock. All right, a little bit of comedy for you. Jim Cramer having a temper tantrum because people were making fun of him because he told people about a week ago to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then immediately the next day it started crashing. If you're familiar with the inverse Cramer effect, listen to his whining and complaining.
However, there was one place where I was criticized. I got a bunch of yahoos saying I called the top in crypto by recommending it. First, I need to say that I typically do not read the comments on Twitter or X, whatever it is. I have pretty thick skin, and even if I can only take so much abuse, I can't. There are just too many people who want to rake me over the coals for something I did wrong 10, 15, 20 years ago, or who think it's funny to spoof me like this crypto comment. Ha, ha, ha. To me, this is internet idiocy at its best. I've liked crypto for a very long time. Mostly because I know there's a huge constituency of investors who want to buy something that can protect them from our government's busted budget. While there's no proof crypto can protect you from anything, at least not yet, it's a plausible story, and it's something that, well, let's just say sometimes that's all you need in this business. I hope the American economy can grow its way out of that huge deficit via higher tax receipts, but I fear that someday we're going to get one of these partisan debt ceiling fights, and some White House official will start talking about a cram down or a buyback of Treasury bonds at a discount. I am disappointed that both the Obama and Trump administrations refused to issue longer-term 50-year paper, take advantage of those ultra-low interest rates that aren't there anymore. Would have been a huge money saver. Instead, we have all this short-term paper that's now being issued at higher rates. What a mistake. So I own some crypto, and I owned it for ages as a hedge to the idea that someone in the Treasury Department truly decides to do something crazy, call our bonds, say, North Park. Don't laugh. Consider Executive Order 6102. Don't know it? In 1933, FDR, revered president, issued that order, confiscating gold from the people of the United States, of you and me, in order to stabilize the banking system. Remember, back then we were still the gold standard. The penalty for not turning it over to the government was a fine of up to $10,000. And that's when $10,000 was a lot of money. Worse, you go to prison for 10 years. Some jewelry, $100 in gold coins, and artists and dentists were excluded. But from a modern perspective, this was an absolutely insane move, downright un-American. In the context of the Great Depression, the banking regulations of the time, where the Fed wasn't allowed to lend more money unless it had more bullion, you can see why FDR did it. But the whole situation was absurd. Now, these days, I still have some gold as a hedge, but because it can be easily confiscated, done once, can be done again, I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe even some other cryptocurrencies deserve a spot in your portfolio, too. Maybe one day if the deficit gets under control, I'll change my tune. But anyone who's followed me for more than 10 minutes knows that I'm a huge skeptic about our government's ability to balance the budget. It's not that we don't know how to solve the problem. It's that legislators lack the political will to do things that are unpopular. Balancing the budget means making painful decisions to raise taxes or cut spending. Most politicians would rather just kick the can down the road and make somebody else deal with it, ideally the opposition. So I own crypto because those national debt worries are never going to go away. Maybe not in my lifetime, but I'll go ahead. I'm going to call the top by recommending it yet again. Weird how I've been recommending gold and crypto for so many years, and yet they're both near all-time highs, and I take heat anyway? Gotta go back to not reading the comments. Just ain't worth the aggravation.
Jim Cramer trying to become friendly to the crypto community after years of making fun of him. What was it he called Cardonzo on national television? He didn't even bother doing the research to pronounce the names of the companies right. And now he's trying to pretend he's pro-crypto. Nice, Jimmy. Nice, Jimmy. Guys, we got a new listing on the Bridgers, All-Chain Bridge by Swift. Thrilled to announce they have listed PRX Network. Very bullish there. New listings on Swift. All right, so more potentially amazing news for JASMY. Japan's individual number card coming to the Apple Wallet. First official ID outside the U.S. Check it out, guys. Yes, JASMY's technology coming in March. Japan's individual My Number card, also known as the My Number card, is coming to the Apple Wallet, a first for official identity documents outside the U.S. The country clearly expects residents to take some time to get used to the idea. It's being announced around a year ahead of its rollout next spring. We know it got announced in March, right, of this year. Apple's long-term vision for the wallet app is that it can completely replace all our physical cards, not just payment cards, but also things like driver's licenses and state and national ID cards. The company first announced support for the digital ID cards back in 2021 through rollouts, though rollouts have been slow since then. Currently, digital ID cards in Apple wallets are only available in 4 U.S. states: Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, and Maryland. Over 20 U.S. states are planning to adopt digital driver's licenses, though this doesn't necessarily imply Apple Wallet support. California, for example, started tallying digital IDs last year via a standalone app. Apple has announced that Japan's individual My Number card will be supported from the next year. Apple is working with the Japanese digital agency to prepare everyone living in Japan to use the My Number card in the Apple Wallet from the second half of next spring. Japan is the first to deploy the Apple Wallet identification function outside of the United States. With this function, everyone living in Japan can seamlessly add an individual number card to the Apple Wallet on the iPhone. The card is the only form of ID required in Japan and can be used for everything from accessing government agencies and healthcare to obtaining copies of our other government records through convenience stores. The card can also be used to access online services. Apple said that rolling out the digital ID cards beyond the US was an important step towards the company's long-term vision. Guys, if you're wondering what this has to do with JASMY and Jenkins technology is what is used for the secure infrastructure of the My Number card. So, therefore, JASMY and Jenkins technology being integrated via a partnership between Apple and the Japanese government into the Apple phones, the Apple wallets in the iPhones. So, huge news coming this spring, guys. Stay tuned for that catalyst to come in, I believe, March of next year. So that is massive. We have confirmation of that. All right, what else do we got? Over 100,000 Bitcoin have been withdrawn from exchanges in the past 30 days. More Bitcoin being removed from exchanges, guys. All right, going over to the story we were going to talk about. Brazil eyes strategic Bitcoin reserve to strengthen the economy. Brazilian lawmakers have proposed creating a national Bitcoin reserve to strengthen the country's economy. The bill suggests that Brazil invest 5% of its $372 billion of international reserves into Bitcoin. According to the bill, this investment will help gradually to manage risks. The proposal highlights that Bitcoin could be used, it could be a good way for Brazil to protect itself during uncertain economic times, like currency drops and political issues. Supporters believe Bitcoin's addition to Brazil's reserves could mix up the country's assets and lessen its dependence on regular currencies. Likewise, it could improve financial stability when the economy is unstable. Furthermore, the proposal includes a step-by-step plan to buy Bitcoin, which will help reduce the impact of market fluctuations on Brazil's reserves. This careful approach aims to smoothly integrate Bitcoin into the country's financial system while allowing time to evaluate its effectiveness as a reserve asset. If adopted, the move would mark a significant milestone in Brazil's financial strategy and set an example for other nations considering similar measures. Some days following, Mencen, a leading candidate for Poland's 2025 presidential race, pledged to establish a national Bitcoin reserve if elected. The promise reflects a growing trend in political leaders embracing Bitcoin as a strategic asset. Notably, his commitment mirrors a similar proposal by the U.S. President Donald Trump, who pledged during his campaign to establish a strategic Bitcoin stockpile. In July, Senator Cynthia Lummis introduced legislation to create a Bitcoin reserve for the U.S., targeting the acquisition of 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. The bill aims to hedge against national debt while holding the asset for at least 2 decades. Globally, countries like El Salvador and Bhutan have embraced Bitcoin as part of the national financial strategies. Under President Bukele, El Salvador has become the first country to legalize Bitcoin as a legal tender in 2021. It has since amassed over 5,748 Bitcoin. The popularity of the crypto asset in Brazil has positioned the country as a critical player in the global crypto market. Brazil has gained attention from investors and industry players, especially after pioneering the approval of the Solana ETF in August. In addition, Brazil's regulatory framework has made it an appealing destination for major exchanges, including Ripple, Binance, and investors. The country's strategic location as the largest economy in Latin America adds to the allure as the hub for crypto businesses looking to expand within the region. Brazil taking on the crypto industry in a positive way, guys. You absolutely love to see it. All right. And finally, what do we have here? Just in $118 billion in asset under management. VanEck CEO predicts Bitcoin will go to $150,000 to $180,000 this cycle.
The Bitcoin will keep to the halving cycle. So we're looking at sort of 150 to 180 this cycle as a price target. And then the next cycle, it reaches my target of half the value of gold. So 400,000 plus, depending on the price of gold.
Sir, first time we meet in person.
Yeah.
And what a time to meet. The question I think is most relevant right now is your thoughts on the markets relative to the positive news of Trump being elected.
Yeah, I have a very I think, unique take, because what's really weird is that we had to sweep by one political party, yet we don't really know what their fiscal policy is going to be. So to me, the elephant in the room, the biggest issue by far is the U.S. Fiscal deficit. We are spending money that's just completely unsustainable. And for any other country, they'd be headed towards bankruptcy, right? So there's two schools of thought. I'm going to try to oversimplify it. The Washington lobbyist school is impossible to cut spending. Maybe they slow the growth of spending, but not much change in the budget deficit. The other view is, I'll call it, that the extreme disruptors win and they cut half a trillion dollars, $500 billion from government spending. And the person, I got that number from Vivek Ramaswamy, so he's co-head of Doge, and he said that they can effectuate that because there are 1,200 programs that are no longer authorized but still spending money, which means that they can terminate them with an executive order. They don't need to go through the legislative process. So that's the target. I think it's also a healthy target because it's realistic. I think, $500 billion won't close it. It was at 1.8 trillion last year, but it's enough to get the markets comfortable, I think, where we're headed. So that's my cut. But the weird thing is, here we are, post-election, clear outcome, sweep, and we still don't know what the fiscal policy is going to be.
Okay, but so first, the market is reacting as if things are going to be incredible, and they're ignoring that problem by the looks of it. Do you disagree with that statement?
I think the initial reaction was negative gold, because the idea was, wow, maybe they will be able to restructure government, never bet against Elon, right? I think now the gold's rallied for 2 days, partially because of Ukraine. I think the market will flip-flop between these two views. I don't know when we'll know, Mario, when the answer is.
Where do you stand?
It could take a while.
Where do you stand on this? What's your personal thoughts? How optimistic are you? Because I'll be very honest. I'm a big fan of Elon, as you know. I've had Vivek on the show since the early days.
Yeah.
When he was running, and I love both of them. But I still think the system is so flawed. The incentives are so misaligned from a political standpoint that I just don't think there's enough incentive to act on the deficit on the deficit.
I think they're smart enough about business, and Elon is certainly all over this, right? That they know they have to address this problem. Trump didn't really campaign on it, but I call it the Trump-Musk presidency, because who did Trump talk about a lot on his acceptance speech? Who does he hang out with? Who does he sit next to? He's really, I think there was something on Twitter about him going to watch one of Elon's...
The UFC fight, yeah.
Well, not just the UFC fight, but now...
the spaceship launch today. Yeah.
No, not just the launch, but the booster coming back down and being caught by the arms. that Trump he's clearly in
There's a
love.
new launch. There's a new launch today. Are you aware?
Yeah, but I think it may be either the launch or when they return the booster rocket.
That's what you're talking about.
That's the one he loves. I don't know when it's going to happen. My main point is that betting against Elon, I mean, take him not literally but seriously. It's the same way as Trump. We'll just have to see. I personally think the way you look about the future is you try to imagine all the possible scenarios and just realize if your portfolio is constructed intelligently to account for that. But in base case, it's hard to believe that that will get spending under control. So that's why I have a huge personal investment in Bitcoin and gold.
Okay, so you mentioned something very briefly, is the geopolitical situation. Now, obviously, crypto's going through, we just hit an all-time high when I was having a chat with Raoul Pal earlier.
Yeah, keep talking.
So the market is going through extreme greed, unsurprisingly, in my opinion. But do you think there's a black swan event that the market is not taking into consideration, and that's a geopolitical situation what we've seen in Ukraine and the approval of the long-range missiles striking deep into Russian territory? Is that just noise and it shouldn't matter until Trump is president, or is that something that is concerning you? As you said, gold has reacted to that news.
The problem is geopolitical stuff is completely uninvestable, right? We never know what headline is coming next, and we don't know if it's going to be bullish or bearish. That's the problem. I'm not saying ignore it. You're absolutely right. But the problem is, what do you do about it? Almost 99% of the time, professional investors will say, do absolutely nothing. So I would say in this case, probably do absolutely nothing. I think there is a scenario, right, where there's a peace deal, a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine this year or soon. But clearly Putin is posturing ahead of time to be hyper aggressive, right, to kind of get the best position he can, right? He's threatening nuclear war. He's threatening a whole bunch of different kinds of things. So, but that's not really investable. I think the reason crypto is rallying so much in the last month is you've just had the biggest flip-flop in government policy on any topic ever. It's almost like the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It's so radical, right? So you've gone from choke point to like having your own coin, right? I mean, you just can't possibly imagine anything. So Bitcoin's being revalued as it should be, but it's in line with what would be normal behavior for this cycle.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about the crypto market. First, I'm not sure if you're aware. Do you know that Trump Jr. backed 1 or 2 meme coins?
Yes.
And you're aware of that? And then you've got the president himself being involved, having a DeFi project.
Well, it's not just that. You have a lot of cabinet people or cabinet nominees personally have owned crypto for quite a while, right?
RFK, so JD Vance, Elon and Doge.
It's the new generation, right? I mean, it's really the new generation that they're tapping.
So you don't think the market is overreacting to Trump's election?
No, not the crypto market, not at all. I wouldn't even say the crypto market's reacted that strongly. Bitcoin has rallied a lot.
Okay.
ETH has shown a pulse. Altcoins, not quite as much yet, right?
Why? Because obviously we're expecting regulatory clarity in the US and potentially other countries following suit. Then why don't you have that same reaction as Bitcoin with altcoins as well? That should be good news for altcoins, even more than Bitcoin, really. Or not more than Bitcoin, but just as much.
To me, I always describe Bitcoin as sort of a child growing up, right? So now I would say it's sort of like a teenager, and what gets it to mature is new investor sets coming in. What you had this year is individual investors really loved the Bitcoin ETFs, so they came in. The wealth management industry has not come into Bitcoin yet, but now we're looking at maybe the US government getting involved. There'd be only the 7th government involved officially with Bitcoin mining or holding it as a reserve. So that would be a tremendous, right? That means it's sort of gone from being 15 years old to 25-year-old in a day.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We're doing an interview with Cynthia Lummis later today. She's clearly been a big advocate for this for a while. So, we'll see. But that if the official sector in the world adopts Bitcoin the way it's adopted gold, this is just the beginning.
Okay, so how?
So can I follow up? Sorry.
Please.
So you were asking, why is a Bitcoin dominant cycle, right? And what we say is a couple of things. First of all, there's still competition amongst the other blockchains, right? Ethereum had to really change its economic model. It has competitors. It's lost market share, right, to Solana and some of the L2s, right? So that space is still evolving, which makes sense. It wouldn't be rational for its cash flows to have a big cut and price not to react, right? So it's trying to find out, is Ethereum net inflationary or deflationary? So that makes sense. And then I think the question is, what's the breakthrough application? We think it's stable coins. I'm not sure what stable coins are bullish for, maybe the space in general, but not necessarily per se for any kind of particular project.
I'm going to say the second half of that interview for the evening live stream, so make sure you guys are here for it. I'm going to get into the chat right now and get some of your guys' questions answered and stuff like that. Back over to the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin, $96,680. You love to see it. All right, let's get into the chat. See what everybody's asking. LFG, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Dumb Money, what's up, man? We're painting the town green again, brother. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Guys, as always, please do me a favor. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow. It means a lot, and it absolutely costs you absolutely nothing. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us out. Help us grow. Robin Arrow, what's good, brother? What is good, Quint? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Rod, what's going on, Chief? Turn her on. Let's go. Burners are going. Bruno, what's up, man? So excited for what's coming next year. Me too, brother. Me too. Hey, Rob, did you see the Hara video yet? Yes, I actually did two videos breaking it down for everybody and explaining everything that he said. So definitely check those videos out. Strange Sky, what's up? What's up? Nick, to the guy that said there's no partnership between JASMY and Junction, suck it. I see you caught part one of the video, eh, brother? Nicholas, what's up, big dog? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Mr. Pump, absolutely, man. Make crypto great again. Stefan, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you, man. Dumb Money, Rob, I know that we're being audited means, so I know what being audited means, but could you explain what auditing the IRS means and who will be affected? Well, what they're going to do is they're going to audit the IRS from, what are they spending their budget on? Because we just literally saw the Pentagon get audited and they failed their audit, not being able to explain where, like, I can't remember the number. I think it was like $300 billion is just gone, and they have no explanation as to where it went, right? So that's what they're going to do. They're going to audit these government agencies, the IRS being one of them. What is their budget being spent on? Can we cut costs? Can we cut employees? Can we streamline this? That is what they're going to be audited on. So a lot of jobs will be on the line over at the IRS. Bullish on precious metals. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Gold bug and silver bug for sure. Amon, good afternoon. Everything's off to horses. Yes, absolutely, man. Isaac, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Was there no, I ended up getting tied up in something last night. So I ended up not being able to do it, but there will be one today. Brandon, subscribe to your channel. Please answer me. Is that Trump? Brandon, you have to understand, I answer all the questions the second half of the stream. I don't even read them the first half of the stream when I'm going through the news. So I'm not ignoring you. I am completely unaware you're even asking the question until the second half of the stream, my friend. I think that Funky answered you down here, though. He says, yes, it is the real meme. The people behind Pepe were at the Trump rally. There you go. So there's your answer, brother. William, what's up, buddy? Funky says, wowzers, who else is playing the crypto pump it up? I got to pump it up. You got to pump it up. Studio Tech, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Thousands and thousands of percent. Nice, nice, nice. David, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Hey, guys, I'm a student, and my job doesn't pay well. Do you have any advice? I can't give financial advice, my friend, but what Funky says down here makes a lot of sense. He says, buy and hold, sell in a profit. Don't fall for the hype. Stay true to your picks unless they change since you got in. Yes, exactly. Enzo, just that's the CEO of VanEck that we're watching in terms of the interview. X marks a spot in the house. What's up, man? Hey, Rob, what's your opinion on Casper? I like Casper. I'm bullish on Casper. I don't like what happened a couple of months ago. They had a little bit of negativity there. They sold Casper Labs or something like that to another company, some sort of merger or acquisition. But here's the thing, guys, and we've been talking about this over on the Patreon. There's going to start being a lot more mergers and acquisitions in crypto now that regulation is coming in. We're used to seeing that kind of stuff in the stock market. We're not used to seeing it in crypto, but it is a thing that's going to start to be a realization moving forward, right? We saw it with ASI token. We saw a massive merger between Fetch AI, Singularity Nets, and Ocean, right? We're going to start to see mergers and stuff like that. It's not a negative thing. It's not a, oh, they screwed us kind of thing. So it's just a reality of the business world, right? It's actually, for me, shows the next level of maturity in the asset class to start seeing acquisitions and mergers coming into the space as a normality, right? So JASMY and XEN family community strong. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Gary, JASMY to 32 cents by Christmas. Let's frickin' go. I could deal with that. All right, guys, listen, that's the news. That's the chat. Guys, make sure that you get over to the Patreon and schedule your one-on-one coaching sessions with me and join our group Zoom calls that we do every day. Join us. We'll talk about compounding gains, DeFi staking, passive income opportunities. If you need your hand held through this altcoin season, guys, get over there, join the community. We have everyone from veterans to beginners. We'd love to have you join the community. If you need help, if you've never gone through an altcoin season before, I'm telling you right now, if you try to wing it, you will end up losing. So get over to the Patreon. The link is down below. Schedule your one-on-ones. I will see you guys at 8 o'clock Central for 8 p.m. Central for the next live stream. Have a fantastic afternoon, guys. Peace.